I'm Michael Weidrich. I am the Executive Director of the South Buffalo Community Association, and we run the Tosh Collins Community Center. I am the father figure of my nephew, Dylan. He tragically lost his father when he was 9, and when that happened, I decided to move home to Buffalo. I'd been living across the state for many, many years. And my sister and I had a conversation, and we all decided I would move home to Buffalo and actually move into their house and help her raise my nephew, because it was such a shock, obviously a shock to the whole family. And for such a young boy to lose his dad was really hard, and was obviously, horrible for my sister. And I was like, it's time to come home, take care of my family. He was 9, going on 10. Obviously it was hard for him, but I think me moving home and moving into the house was a great comfort. He is still a very emotional young man, and just having that other person in the house to talk to do stuff, for me to take him to the movies or whatnot, to give his mother a break, it was just becoming a new family unit. And it was, I don't want to say I was filling a gap, but I was stepping in and to become a kind of create a new family, and doing new things that not necessarily his father used to do, but new stuff that I like to do that I got to introduce my nephew to, and still do to this day. And it's been a little over 3 years since my brother-in-law passed and I moved home, and certainly the past year has been very interesting with COVID and dealing with that. I did move out, got my own apartment, and now he has like a room at my place. So now he can stay at my place on the weekend, or if his mom needs a break, I can take him. It's been nice. It was a big transition. For all of us. Certainly losing a major member of the family was huge. And I had been thinking about moving home because my parents, who are both still alive, are aging, and realizing that our time left together was less, than what we've had. So we kind of took this as a sign from up above that this was really the time for me to move home and, to really step into this, into this role, to help support my sister, to be a guide for my nephew, to be there for my parents. The big leap was really moving into their home and being part of a family unit when, living, alone essentially for most of my adult life, to moving in with your family, and especially moving in with your sister, was a lot of fun. We're adults, but sometimes those old childhood rivalries come back up. But it was really great to kind of be with my nephew in these formative years, just because in my normal life I don't have my own children. I'm not a father, and this was kind of we'll say a divine intervention to give me this opportunity to be that father figure, to someone who is my own blood, and to try to teach him how to be a good person and help him through school and help him find his own passions. I introduced him to the Shays Theater and into the world of theater, which he had never been to, and now we can't wait to go back to the theater and take him to see the Buffalo Philharmonic and the Albright Knox and all the things that I'm passionate about. I get to share with him, and things that he's interested in, I'll explore. And, I love food. We're food people, so exploring new restaurants. He's game to go and try anything at least once. So it's been, and thankfully, we were able to do so much before COVID hit, because obviously once COVID hit, we were in lockdown together, and he went through puberty during COVID. which was a very, we'll take that as, as a good thing, kind of, being in a family unit, being together, and him going through these changes, into adulthood, to talk through it, and, to have someone like myself who's been through it, from a male's perspective, to help guide him through it, and my sister being there too, to, we got through it. We're still getting through it. It's important for every child to have, guiding forces, role models, whether they're taking on a paternal father figure or a maternal mother figure. So many kids today don't have either of those figures in their life. And the studies show that having those figures in your life, does help your positive development, and especially having a positive, supportive figure does so much, to further them in their lives and going into adulthood. Even if it's just someone to talk to, it's just so critical to development, because there's so many challenges and so many external factors in the world today kind of bombarding kids, that it's even more important now to have that person or people in your life that are there to protect you, to guide you, to, kind of cut through the noise and be like, no, this is what you need to do, or you should do this. Probably the hardest thing I know in my role now as this father figure is to say no, and unfortunately having to, protect a child. It's like they may want to go off and do this, but I'm like, that's not really the smartest thing you can do. Like, maybe you should do this, or no, you can't do that. I remember as a child, my parents kind of reprimanding me or telling me no, and I'm like, oh, why would you do that? Now, kind of at this point, it's like, well, okay, now I understand, and it's for your own good. It's the most important thing you'll ever do in your life. And whether or not the child is yours by blood or by marriage or by whatever circumstances they come into your life, is the most important thing you'll ever do, is to be that father figure role model to this child, because you can't even imagine the positive impact it will have on them, and what that child will go into the world and will do, to make the world a better place, to be themselves a better parent, role model, whatever that is. It's like the impact of this is so generational, and we want to raise the next best generation. So what you choose to do today impacts generations to come.